Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Now arriving, number 6, Elfrid Payton. The 6'4", 25-year-old point guard out of Louisiana is entering his 6th year in the NBA. His career averages are 11.1 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, and 6.6 assists. He's shooting 45% from the field, 30% from deep, and 63% from the line. Goals for Elfrid this season? Provide real leadership out there as a floor general. Improve his outside shooting, and he needs to start playing defense again.
The hair may have been cut for a couple years now, but by and large, Elfrid Payton comes into New York the same player he's been for the bulk of his career. A good passer, a struggling shooter, and an inconsistent defender. Elfrid entered the league back in 2014. He was selected 10th overall by the Philadelphia 76ers and traded on draft night to the Orlando Magic. Their assistant GM at the time? None other than Scott Perry. If you're keeping track, by the way, that's now 2 of his drafted projects that he's brought to the New York Knicks. Perry's been trying to get Elfrid here for a while, finally got his wrist this offseason in free agency. In Elfrid, Perry sees a steady, dependable point guard, one that you could count on to right the ship if the likes of Dennis Smith Jr. and Ntilikina remain inconsistent. Last year in New Orleans, Payton had a bit of a career year, hitting his stride midseason when he got 5 straight triple-doubles in a row. He became one of a few players to do this in the last 35 years. Other names on this list, Russell Westbrook, Michael Jordan. Since his signing, much has been made about the necessity of Payton. Is he just here to take minutes from more promising players? We've seen that story before. There are a lot of questions heading into the season, but chances are Scott Perry did not bring Elfrid here just to warm the bench.
He is a true blue floor general, averaging 7.6 assists a game, never averaged less than 6 assists a game. And you know what? He's a guy we really need. We needed a floor general. We need somebody to organize spots. And he's kind of similar to Frank, where he can organize players on offense and defense. So wake up, don't sleep, Payton gang, gang, gang.
Now arriving, number 5, Dennis Smith Jr. The 6'3", 21-year-old point guard out of NC State is entering his 3rd year in the NBA. His career averages are 14.5 points per game, 3.4 rebounds, and 5.0 assists. He's shooting 41% from the field, 32% from deep, and 67% from the line. This season, he has to work on his perimeter shooting, his off-ball defense, and overall consistency. Time to bring it every night.
The prized possession from the highly debated Kristaps Porzingis trade, Dennis Smith Jr. enters his first full season in New York with expectations almost as high as his vertical. Smith Jr. has always been linked to New York, even dating back to the 2017 draft. Phil Jackson, back then, laid an octopus-sized obstacle on his plate, and months later, LeBron was heavily buying DSJ stock, which made a certain baguette a little more feisty than usual. 2 seasons in, however, and many of the same questions that surrounded Dennis back then still exist. 1. Can he hit an outside jumper? 2. Can he stay healthy? And 3. Is he truly a lead guard? Dennis reportedly worked on his jumper all offseason with Knicks assistant coach Keith Smart. Specifically, he focused on getting that hitch out of his shot. But improved jumpers aside, how Dennis Smith performs this season may have to do with his health. Last year, to end the year, Dennis Smith missed a considerable amount of time with a lower back injury. Not the exact same injury, but the back flared up again this preseason, and he missed some time for it as well. The Knicks don't believe it's a major issue. They also believe the incidents are unrelated. But with the back, you never know, especially for someone who relies on athleticism so much. So something to monitor as the season goes on. After spending his first few months just hearing about Kyrie Irving and free agency, Dennis Smith Jr. now finds himself as perhaps the inside track to the starting point guard position as the Knicks summer fans all faded away. He's been the darling of Knicks social media this summer. The shirtless pictures, the quotes, the workout videos, the motivational Rocky music in the background. The Knicks are kind of all in on Dennis Smith right now. While there may not be a promise of a starting position, you'd be blind to not sense that Dennis has the inside track.
What I'm looking forward to most from him this upcoming season is his passing. He is such an underrated passer. He had a 15 assist game last year, a 13 assist game last year, and he's only scratching the surface. If he can develop more into a pass-first point guard, into a score-first point guard, I think it'll help his career tremendously. I see around 7 to 8 assists per game from him. With excellent defense, he's going to grow as a defender, and about 15 points per game. The lane will be open more so he can go to the rim where he wants to be, but he won't be great until he can shoot from the mid-range or the 3.
Now arriving, number 11, Frank Ntilikina. The 6'6", 21-year-old point guard of France is entering his third year in the NBA. His career averages are 5.7 points per game, 2.2 rebounds, and 3.1 assists. He is shooting 35% from the field, 31% from deep, and 74% from the line. This season, he has to work on his offensive aggression, perimeter shooting, and his overall confidence. Frank has to get out of his own head.
The most polarizing player in Knicks history at this rate, Frank Ntilikina enters his third year in New York, still hoping to prove to the fan base and the front office that he can be part of the young core for the future. Saved by a FIBA World Cup performance that resuscitated his Knicks career from the deathbed, the French prince finds himself again locked into a point guard battle to start the season. Frank somehow is still here, even after a draft night where it seemed like he would certainly be jettisoned for a second-round pick. This summer showed that Frank can be effective both on and off ball. He was confident in his performances against the USA and Argentina, and he showed that his offensive game may be a bit more promising than we thought. Will this happen soon enough for the Knicks, however, still remains a question, and the Knicks up to this point have still not picked up his option. Frank's defense, however, engulfing, swarming, and downright disruptive on occasion, will be where he earns his minutes this season. Frank is less likely to be the lead point guard or even the backup, but you could see him finding scrap minutes at the 1, 2, 3, and even the 4 on occasion, where he may just come in as a defensive stopper. While Frank has shown a decent uptick in his offensive aggression, he still struggles way too much on that end, and that offensive game for him will be a consistent work in progress. Last year, Frank found himself riddled with injury and plagued with inconsistency. This year, he's hoping to be the exact opposite. If Frank can find a way to just hit open shots alone, that would drastically alter his career projections. Frank worked with Tim Martin all summer, and he certainly saw an impact in the World Cup. And while it hasn't translated so far in the preseason, it's something he's hoping he can carry over to the regular season when the games count. With a looming contract option that's hung over the last month like a bad cloud, a lot is on the line for Frank.
So my expectations for Frankie this season, first I hope he's healthy and he gets to play more minutes than he did last year, but I want to see FIBA Frankie in the NBA. I expect to see that little step back jumper he had going on in China at the Garden, and I want to see fourth quarter against the United States Frankie every night he plays for the Knicks.
And that will be the biggest question for the point guards heading into this season. Which one of these three guys can be the first to have a consistent outside jumper? With RJ Barrett and Julius Randle both needing the ball in their hands and both looking to distribute when they can, we're going to need to have some shooting at the one position. Right now, Frank probably has the best form, but he suffers the most when his confidence isn't there. Dennis is probably the most confident, but he has the worst form. And Elfrid, at this point, 5-6 years into his career, not sure we're going to see a major uptick from him. Which one of these guys can shoot? Likely, that will be the one who ends up with the job at the end of the season.
As always, thanks again for watching our video. Do not forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications. That way you'll know every time that we post a new video. And check out some of our other stuff.